On Christmas Eve, the mall was drowning in lights, fake snow, and forced cheer. Children laughed. Parents rushed. Somewhere beneath the sound of carols and cash registers, a lie was about to cost someone their life. And no one, not the guards, not the shoppers, not even the police, suspected. The man in the Santa suit standing quietly near the back entrance, because the most dangerous people never look dangerous at all. Eli Turner was invisible. At least that's how the world treated him. At 32, Eli worked night shifts as a janitor at Northbridge Mall. He cleaned what others trashed, erased footprints no one noticed, and kept his head down because experience had taught him something brutal. When you're poor, quiet, and powerless, survival depends on not being seen. Management barely remembered his name. Security dismissed him as maintenance. And Marcus Hale, the mall's operations director, treated him like a problem that refused to go away. Marcus Hale was the kind of man who wore power like perfume, expensive suit, perfect smile, a donor to charities he never visited. He ran Northbridge like his private kingdom, and anyone below him existed to serve or be crushed. Eli learned that the hard way the night he found something he wasn't supposed to see. It happened 2 weeks before Christmas. A locked storage room, a broken seal, and a box that didn't belong. Inside were stacks of cash, burner phones, and unregistered firearms hidden behind pallets of seasonal decorations. Before Eli could even process what he was looking at, Marcus Hale stepped into the doorway. Calm, smiling, dangerous. Marcus didn't panic. He didn't shout. He simply closed the door and said, "You weren't here." Eli tried to report it the next day. Security laughed him off. Human resources warned him to stop making trouble. And Marcus made sure Eli's hours were cut, his pay delayed, and his name quietly added to an internal list labeled Problem Employee. That's when the threats began. Anonymous calls, a note in his locker. Christmas is coming. Eli realized the truth too late. Marcus wasn't just corrupt, he was planning something big. And Christmas Eve, with its crowds and chaos, was the perfect cover. The night of December 24th arrived wrapped in celebration. The mall was packed shoulder to shoulder. Families lined up for photos with Santa Claus. Cameras flashed. Children made wishes. And behind the velvet rope, the man in the Santa suit wasn't the usual hired performer. It was Marcus Hale. No one questioned it. Why would they? He had credentials, clearance, and authority. What no one knew was that the suit concealed a vest. Not a costume prop, a bomb vest. Crude, but powerful enough to turn the atrium into a mass grave. The plan was sickeningly simple. Stage an accident, trigger panic, and vanish in the chaos, while millions in laundered money disappeared through shell accounts already prepared. Except Marcus had made one mistake. He underestimated the janitor. Eli had spent days watching, listening, and piecing together fragments Marcus assumed were beneath him. He memorized schedules, camera blind spots, emergency exits, and when he realized Santa wasn't just a mascot but the weapon, something inside him snapped. Fear gave way to resolve. Silence turned into purpose. As Marcus stepped onto the platform, waving at children, Eli was already moving. He pulled a fire alarm near the West Wing, just enough to draw security away. Then he slipped through the maintenance corridor, heart pounding so loud he was sure the cameras could hear it. Every step felt like borrowed time. One wrong move and he wouldn't just die, he'd be blamed. When Eli reached the atrium, Marcus was mid-speech, booming laughter echoing through the mall. Eli saw it then, the wire under the red fabric, the dead man's switch taped inside the glove. Proof. Cold, undeniable proof. Eli did the unthinkable. He stepped forward. "Santa!" he shouted. The room went quiet. Marcus's eyes locked onto Eli, and for the first time, the smile cracked. Just for a second. But Eli saw it. Fear, not of death, but of exposure. Security rushed in. Marcus laughed it off, calling Eli unstable, a disgruntled worker. The crowd believed him. Why wouldn't they? Power speaks louder than truth. Then Eli dropped to his knees and ripped open the Santa suit. The wires spilled into view. Screams erupted. Children cried. Guards froze. And Marcus Hale, perfect, untouchable Marcus, stood exposed in front of everyone. The powerful brought low by the man he thought didn't matter. The bomb squad arrived within minutes. Marcus was arrested. The mall evacuated. Lives were saved. The headlines the next day called Eli a hero. But heroes don't sleep easily. Because 3 nights later, as Eli sat alone in his apartment, watching the news replay Marcus's arrest, his phone buzzed with an unknown number. The message contained only one sentence. "You stopped the wrong Santa." Eli stared at the screen, heart sinking, as the camera cut to breaking news. Another mall, another Santa suit, another Christmas Eve still counting down. And somewhere out there, someone was finishing what Marcus Hale started. The phone slipped from Eli Turner's hand and hit the floor, the screen still glowing with those 5 words. You stopped the wrong Santa. Outside his apartment window, Christmas decorations flickered weakly in the rain, already being taken down like the city wanted to forget what almost happened. But Eli couldn't forget. His chest felt hollow, like the air had been ripped out and replaced with dread. If Marcus Hale was only a piece of the plan, then the nightmare wasn't over. It had just moved. By morning, the media had turned Eli into a symbol. Janitor saves hundreds. His face was everywhere, framed as proof that courage could come from anywhere. What the headlines didn't show was the way Eli flinched at every unknown number, or how he slept with the lights on, convinced someone was watching. The hallway, justice, he was learning, was loud in public and terrifying in private. At the police station, detectives assured him Marcus Hale was cooperating. Too cooperative. Marcus smiled in interrogation footage like a man still in control, calmly insisting he'd been manipulated, that others were involved. Names were redacted. Files went missing. When Eli asked about the message, an officer told him it was probably a prank, someone chasing attention. But Eli saw the truth in Marcus's eyes on that platform. This wasn't overconfidence. It was certainty. 3 days later, the certainty became real. A mall in the neighboring city was evacuated after an anonymous tip. No explosion, no suspect, just a discarded Santa hat found in a service hallway, wired on the inside with the same crude trigger mechanism. The press called it a copycat threat. Eli felt his stomach drop. It wasn't a copy. It was a signature. That night, Eli went back to Northbridge Mall. He wasn't supposed to. Security had been doubled, his badge deactivated, his employment status labeled under review. But old habits die hard, and old doors still open for people who know where to press. He moved through the maintenance tunnels like a ghost, retracing the path that had nearly gotten him killed. In the storage room where it all began, Eli noticed something new. Fresh scuff marks on the floor, a faint chemical smell, and taped beneath a shelf, hidden where only someone who cleaned would look, was a memory card. Inside were schematics, mall layouts, Christmas schedules, not just one location but several, and a name circled in red ink over and over again. E. Turner. Eli finally understood the cruel irony. He hadn't just stopped a crime. He'd been drafted into a story someone else was writing. Marcus Hale wasn't the mastermind. He was the decoy, the fall guy powerful enough to distract the system, arrogant enough to enjoy the spotlight, disposable enough to burn. The real architect wanted something else. Panic, misdirection, and a hero the public could trust before tearing him apart. The next call came at 2:17 a.m. A distorted voice, calm, almost kind. "You did exactly what we hoped," it said. "You showed the world who to believe. Eli demanded to know who was behind it." The voice laughed softly. "You already know us. You clean up after us. You pass us in hallways. Power doesn't always wear suits, Eli. Sometimes it wears uniforms. Sometimes it signs paychecks." The line went dead. The following morning, police arrived at Eli's apartment with a warrant. Anonymous tips had linked him to extremist planning documents. The memory card was already being labeled fabricated evidence. His phone records were suddenly incomplete, his bank account frozen. The same system that ignored him when he was powerless now moved with terrifying efficiency to crush him when he became inconvenient. Marcus Hale watched the news from his holding cell, smiling again. Eli saw it in the footage. The same smile, the same certainty. Even in chains, Marcus was still protected by the people who benefited from his silence. But Eli had learned something crucial from being invisible his whole life. When no one sees you, you see everything. And before the police took his laptop, Eli sent one file to an independent journalist who owed him a favor, schematics, timelines, patterns, enough to raise questions no one wanted asked. As Eli was led away in handcuffs, cameras flashing, the city believed the story it was given. The hero was unstable. The janitor wanted attention. Order had been restored. That night, Christmas lights flickered on across the city again. Another mall opened late. Another Santa waved at children. And somewhere deep in a control room, someone watched. Eli Turner's arrest on a monitor and marked a new date on a calendar. Because the final stage of the plan didn't require bombs or costumes anymore. It required silence. And Eli was running out of time.